Hey everybody, I'm really excited to be here with you today. I'm with one of my best friends, Michael Rash, who you guys see like me on Facebook a lot of times. I post pictures during his birthday because his birthday's in May. And so we always do like a big celebration. We usually have like a lot of people here, but today it's just kind of laid back. I actually kind of like it when it's just us, to be honest, Betty, because then we can like visit more. When there's like a lot of people here, I feel like we don't get to visit as much, but I always bring him strawberry cheesecake, which I did today.
Yep.
And we always have this tradition, which we didn't do because everybody got into the cake. But I always blow out the candles because Michael can't blow out candles anymore. But he's 50. He was turned 57 this month.
56.
56, looking a smashing 35. And I'm kind of right there with him. We won't talk about my age, but no, I'm kidding. I met Michael when I was like 19 years old.
What is supposed to be a Super Bowl?
Huh?
What is supposed to be a supermodel?
A supermodel? That's right. He thinks I'm a Do I look like a supermodel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He thinks, well, if he's thinks I do, then there. Yeah, no, I'm 46. I've had 3 babies, so I'm very unsupermodelish, but if you think I'm one, I'm good. All right, so here's the deal. We're just going to be here. We're going to talk about whatever. Michael says I can pretty much ask him anything. If you have questions in the comments, I will reach out to him later and we'll get your questions answered. But I met Michael when I was like 19 years old, and you're 10 years older than me, so he was 27. And I'd never forget. So I was when we were talking to his mom, I was having trouble with statistics, and I needed help. And so I went to the math department because I couldn't pass the class because I couldn't figure it out. And I was doing great in all my other subjects. And one of the ladies there was like, I really think you should give this guy a call. She gave me 2 different people to call, but she said I would call this guy first. She never said he was in a wheelchair. She never said your condition. She just told me to call you. And I was like, okay. So I remember calling, and I thought his voice sounded like a little distant, but I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought, he must be so smart. Maybe he's just like doing math and like barely paying attention to what I'm saying, because I was only 19. I didn't know. So then like I get to the door and his mom's there, and I'm like, okay, hi. And then I walk in the room and I was like, oh, and I see he's like in a wheelchair. And at that time, I think you could move like your whole hand.
I think so.
Yeah, because you could like write. It was a little scribbly, but you could do it. And I was like, hey. And he's like, hey. And then that was really, after that, that was it. Like I never really thought about him being any different than me after that. As a matter of fact, I thought you were super cute. I still do. Thought he was super cute. And I loved coming over here, and I really got to know Betty, his mom, and we just started this really great friendship. And he had helped me pass and actually made a B in statistics. You remember that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, he did. But there's a lot more to this guy than just good looking, sucking on a thing here. There's a lot more to him, and we're going to get into that today a little bit. So he has muscular dystrophy.
Michael was born with disease known as Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's uses the initials DMD. That's how it's referred to in medical literature. DMD is a neuromuscular disease, and it causes the muscles to deteriorate, and it robs the person of muscle strength little by little. It's a gradual but fairly rapid progression. And the reason why the muscles deteriorate or waste away is that there's a defective gene on the X chromosome. DMD, the most severe of all the neuromuscular diseases, affects only boys physically.
Okay, so you told me I could ask you anything. So I think like the first question is, do you remember like what it was like to walk?
I remember walking when I was really small.
You remember walking when you were really small?
Sometimes I'd fall.
Sometimes you'd fall.
Hit my forehead.
Say what?
His forehead.
Hit my forehead.
You'd hit your forehead?
Yeah.
You remember that?
I vaguely remember walking.
You vaguely remember walking.
I don't remember hitting my head.
You don't remember hitting your head.
You don't remember having to go to the...
Well, that was later.
That was later. So, do you remember, what age were you when you were like, whoa, I have something kind of different than everyone else?
I don't think I was really aware of the difference.
Until you were
Until I
old.
was probably 6 or 7.
And then you were kind of aware of it.
Yeah. Just because I couldn't move around as fast as everyone else.
You couldn't get around as fast as everybody.
Yeah.
Was that, do you remember feeling like frustrated about that?
Not so much until I was in 3rd or 4th grade.
Not so much till 3rd and 4th grade. Did kids ever make fun of you, or were the kids pretty nice?
Most of them were nice.
Most were nice.
A couple of times they made fun of me.
Like, verbally, or just gonna give you like a weird look?
Verbally.
Really?
Yeah, not often.
Not often, though. So that's never been a big issue for you.
No.
So when you go out in public and you kind of get probably some stares, and usually it's probably little kids, right? Or adults, or do adults give you funny looks too? Or they look, smile, or do they?
Most of the time, they're polite.
Polite?
Yeah.
Most of the time. So let's go to like junior high. Were you guys in the States?
Off and on.
You were in Nigeria.
Yeah.
He never...
Before we would return to the States every year or two
You come to the States every year or two
to see my doctor.
to see the doctor. In California?
In Missouri.
Missouri, because that's where like a lot of your family's from, right?
Yeah, St. Louis, Missouri.
So
That's where my dad's family was.
So you're getting older. You're in a wheelchair at this point. You can still use your arms, both hands, when you're like 12, 13.
Yeah, I could push myself.
You could what?
Push myself around in the wheelchair.
You could. So you could self-drive your chair.
When I was 12, 13, yeah.
And when did that stop?
Probably maybe 7th or 8th grade.
And then someone had to push you.
Yeah.
And was that your mom mostly, or other people at the school?
I was going to my class. We live near UNT. It's about 4 blocks to the classroom. So we just walk. It takes about the same amount of time as to drive. And today my sister's taking me because my mother is at Bible study.
By that time you were at home.
Oh, being homeschooled.
Yeah.
He only went to school until he was 5th grade, I think.
Did you like being homeschooled, or did you miss going to school?
I think I was going to school.
Did you have a lot of friends?
No, not really.
Probably just because they were all doing sports and things like that, or just
Partly that.
partly that.
Partly just, well, I think because my abilities were different, I was never really
Your abilities were different.
I was never really part of any group.
You was different, but what?
I was never really a part of any
You were
group.
never a part of a group?
Yeah.
That really surprises me because I love your personality, and if I had gone to school with you, you would have been one of my friends. This was in Nigeria?
Yeah. Well, in the States too, after
But you never.
I started college.
Did you have friends in college?
Not really close friends.
Not close friends.
No.
Do you looking back, do you think was that some of your fault? Maybe you didn't go the extra mile to like connect, or do you like I don't mean your fault, but you know what I mean? Like, do you think that maybe they didn't know, like maybe they would want to be your friend, but like you need to like how do you make that happen? Like, did you reach out to people?
It definitely was partly me.
So it's definitely part of you, because you gotta tell people.
Yeah. I rarely took the first step.
To like invite people over to hang out.
Yeah.
Did you have a girlfriend in college?
Those were girls I liked.
Certain girls you liked,
No real girlfriend.
but not an actual girlfriend. But you had some pretty like close friendships with girls. I mean, you and I've always been good friends. I know that you have had a few in your life that you've been close to.
Most of my close friends have been fairly recently.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, since we were here anyway.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
And then,
Since you've been living in Denton. So, I have a question. And actually, I kind of know the answer to it because, I have a condition. Nothing like your condition, but I have, I have a neck problem. And it's called dystonia. And I remember there was a time when I was involved in like a community support group for that. But what started to happen for me was I just focused so much on it, the problem, but it almost made the problem worse. And I kind of got sucked into like everybody is like, woe is me. And I kind of had to get out of that. Is that kind of how you are with like other, like not willing to like be in like support groups for MD?
I think it was mostly lack of interest.
So you just really were never interested in the disease per se, or the other people that had it. So you were not interested in learning more about your condition, and obviously you know all about your condition, but like how other people deal with it and different ideas and talking about your feelings, that's just not something you were interested in.
Yeah.
Have you been approached by other people like that have it?
I had a pretty good friend in college
In college, a few
who had DMD.
women or men?
A man that I only knew for about a year.
Say that again.
I only knew him about a year.
he only knew him about 1 year.
Oh, you knew him about a year. Is he
Yeah.
still alive?
No, he died in college.
He died in college. That's what I want to ask you something. So you're like probably in the top maybe 10 people in the world of age that have this.
Until recently, we thought so, but we've learned that there are at least a few people 5 to 10 years older.
So he's saying recently they thought he was the oldest, but they found a few people that are a little bit older. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you contribute that to? I mean, here you are with a condition that basically is attacking all of your muscles in your body. It's gone all the way down to your finger. You're incredibly bright and smart. You're an amazing human being. You have beat all of the odds. What do you attribute that to?
mostly to care of my family.
To Betty.
Partly just because my case has been fairly slowly progressing.
So the first thing you said, mostly it's because of your family, which
Yeah.
Betty has been the main caregiver his whole life, but Ivan and the siblings have helped as well.
And partly just because I have been fairly active.
You've stayed active. You've kept your mind strong, and you're also saying that your particular case has been a slower progression.
I suspect so.
So others progress faster than yours,
A lot of them do.
and maybe they didn't have some of the help that you've had.
Yeah, most likely.
Did you want to say something?
Very likely.
I was just going to say, other than his condition of DMD, he's a very healthy person.
Oh,
He's been
yeah.
blessed with very good health. He seldom gets sick with any other sickness.
So Betty's saying that, yeah. And one of the things Betty said when we were chatting earlier is that you're really in tune with your body.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Do you ever get depressed?
I have mild depression from time to time.
You get mildly depressed?
Yeah, from time to time.
And how do you get through that?
Usually just weather it.
Just what?
Weather it.
Weather it?
And
Just get through it.
just try to stick with my routine.
Do you ever feel sorry for yourself?
Sometimes.
I can imagine. Do you ever be like, why did this happen to me?
No. I felt that way when I was in middle school.
You felt that way when you're in middle school.
Not really since then.
Why is that?
Well, it didn't happen to me for any particular reason, except that as a believer in God, I think He had plans for my life. A lot of people say I helped them in their perspective of life, or just being motivated. They feel like they should be motivated.
I mean, you're an inspiration to me. And, if you couldn't understand what he was saying, that he said that he's a believer in God, and he thinks that maybe there's a reason why that God chose him to have this, and that he's inspired others because of it. Would that be?
That's what they say.
You don't know for sure, but that's what you...
I don't understand how.
You don't understand why or how.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I'm not comparing you to Jesus, but if you think about what he went through and sacrificed to inspire others and to give them hope. I remember at one point he prayed to God, why are you letting this happen to me? And God said, we got to finish it. Now, I'm not comparing you to Jesus, but there is a little bit of biblical symbolism there.
Yeah.
DMD, the most severe of all the neuromuscular diseases, affects only boys physically. Certainly, illness is not something to blame God for. When Michael was diagnosed the doctor called on the phone and told me what the diagnosis was. My husband was in class at the time. And of course I was devastated. It was very difficult to think of all the struggles that he had ahead of him. And the thing that, immediately I thought, how can I handle this? And I just said, God, I need you, I need you, I need you. That was my response to the diagnosis. And God gave me something very special. He gave me an overwhelming sense of peace about the whole thing.
The other reason I don't feel sorry for myself, at least not often.
The other reason you don't feel sorry for yourself, at least that often, is because
I can see how everyone has challenges.
you can see how what?
Everybody has challenges.
How everyone has challenges.
Yeah.
I remember one time I asked you, I can't remember what my exact question was, but it was something like that. You were like, I don't think my situation's that bad. I think I'm in a lot better situation than a lot of other people. Do you still feel that way?
Yes.
So you actually still feel that your situation is not nearly as bad as others?
Mostly because I've always had the care I needed.
You've always had Betty.
Yeah.
Well, his whole family.
Your whole family.
Yeah.
And caregivers.